All right, today we have hamstrings, which is actually probably my second favorite muscle group to train right after shoulders. Hamstrings are your triceps of your legs. So what this means is that they're actually the most important muscle group to train if you want big legs, just like how triceps make up 2/3 of your arms, triceps or hamstrings make up the majority of your legs. So gonna get those huge today. This is gonna be a purely hypertrophy focused workout. So I'm gonna show you exactly what you should do if you are specifically trying to build muscle in the gym. It's gonna be like a bodybuilder style training approach, like how I usually work out. But I also got a question today in one of my comment sections that's asking about the most optimal rep range to train for muscle growth. It's not so much about the rep range that matters, because I'm pretty sure that the studies that came out showing the most optimal rep range is between 5 reps and 30 reps. And you're probably thinking, well, that's fucking huge. And you're right. That's not the whole point though. So yes, it's optimal to train within 5 to 30 reps, but the most important part about actually achieving hypertrophy and properly stimulating your muscles is gonna be manipulating mechanical tension. Now, to manipulate mechanical tension, you need to be able to prolong the time period spent in the eccentric portion of the rep, which means you need to focus on the negative. You need to really lengthen your muscles. You need to have a further mind muscle connection. There's a lot that goes into mechanical tension. You need to use the proper exercise selection, like choosing cable or machines over free weights is usually going to give you more tension. There's a bunch of stuff, right? I'm ranting. But the whole point is that when you properly manipulate mechanical tension, it's very hard to be able to get a high repetition range, because if you do the reps properly, you're going to be very fatigued and highly limited to the durability of your cardiovascular system to be able to keep properly pumping out those hypertrophy focused reps. So a normal rep tempo for me is usually going to be like a 1 second concentric, being as fast as I can when I'm pressing, and then the amortization phase is what it's called, in between the concentric and eccentric phase. And I usually want to spend like no time in there. So I usually spend like 0 seconds. I usually like to do that fast twitch where I'll go from concentric right back down into the eccentric, not pausing in between reps is basically what I'm trying to say. But then the eccentric, which is the most important part, is usually going to be between 3 and 4 seconds. So that means I'm going really, really slow on the way down while I'm lengthening my muscles and building up a lot of tension. So to be able to do this for a high amount of reps is going to be super fatiguing. That's why usually when I say that you're trying to build muscle, you want to stick within that 5 to 8 rep range. But if you were for some reason super endurance based, or sorry, if you had a really high endurance level, like your cardiovascular system was trained properly, or maybe you're like an endurance athlete of some sort, then yeah, you could totally get great hypertrophy results by doing 12, 15, 20 reps. But a lot of the times, for the majority of lifters, I would say probably the vast majority, like 95% of lifters, you're not going to have the endurance to be able to perform each rep properly and achieve a high rep range. Usually you're going to be pretty limited. So if I had to say the most optimal rep range for building muscle, I would say 5 to 8 reps if you're doing each rep properly when it comes to specifically muscle hypertrophy. But technically 5 to 30 reps is the rep range. So yeah, long-winded explanation. We're going to get into this hamstring workout. It's going to be sick. I low-key did a little bit of a Sam Sulek diet right before this. I had cereal with almond milk. Or I guess he uses whole milk, but I had cereal for the first time in a while, and we're gonna see if that translates over to getting a sick pump on this bulk for hamstrings. Not that you can really get a sick leg pump unless you're lean, but whatever. I'm yapping. Let's get into this workout. All right, we're gonna start this leg day off with 2 hamstring specific movements. So we're gonna focus on working your hamstrings in the lengthened position by doing the seated hamstring curl. And then our next exercise is gonna be a more shortened position bias. And that's gonna be the laying down hamstring curl. This, in my opinion, the best possible exercise for muscle hypertrophy when it comes to your hamstrings. It's absolutely amazing. The only key things with this that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're leaning forward. So you start with a stretch in your hamstring. It's going to give you a little bit more range of motion as well. And then other than that, push this as far down as possible so that it's suffocating your quads. That way you can only pull using your hamstrings and you're not going to be fidgeting in and out of your fixed position. So That's gonna help keep mechanical tension on. Every single exercise that I do today, I'm not gonna specify going to failure. Every single set should be a 0 RIR, which just means reps in reserve. So 0 reps in reserve. You should be going completely to failure. And in fact, we're gonna basically be doing a ton of either partial reps or some other form of past failure technique for most of our movements. And then we're only gonna do one movement that's gonna be a heavy compound movement that's gonna help bias our quads a little bit as well to get our full leg activation, but mainly hamstrings. So let's get into it. Oh. I feel like I could have had some more intensity there. We're gonna drop set. All right, yeah, definitely doing 3 here. Third set, I'm not gonna drop set. I'm just doing this drop set on the second set because I feel like I kind of pussied out halfway. I know it might not have looked like it to you, but I can tell. I'll see you all over at the next exercise. All right, now we're gonna work our hammies in the shortened position. So this is an amazing exercise. One of the keys with this though is you wanna set it up so that your legs are not going just straight up and down, but they're actually slightly angled inwards. So what I mean by this is instead of just coming just like so, like up and down, what I want is you to move your legs outwards and keep your toes in the same spot. That way it creates this like angle inwards. It's gonna help you better bias your hamstrings. And in my opinion, it just makes you feel a lot stronger. So pull yourself down onto this. Don't let your butt come up off this bench. And then, pull. I gotta do some more rest time. This shit's heavy. If you don't think these are that difficult, it's a crazy position. Probably not pulling long enough. One more set here. 2 sets, 7 to 9 reps. So this is gonna be a 2-parter failure exercise. So what we're gonna do is go really strict form and bias our quads, go to failure with that, and then we're gonna kick our hips back and try to get a couple additional reps taking that to failure as well. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like because it's probably kind of confusing for the people who've never done this before. Okay, now I'm gonna kick my hips back. Zero RIR, motherfuckers. Don't be a pussy and quit half early. I'm gonna go lighter though. Holy shit. All right, I'm gonna do 1 set dumbbell Bulgarian split squats. These are absolutely brutal, taking these to failure as well. I'm only doing 1 set because these are so fatiguing, especially after the other movements that if I did a second set, it would just be garbage, and I'd rather save a little bit of energy for calves. So 1 set here. Let's do this shit. You can see I progressively talk less and less throughout leg days. If you watched my last exercise, you see that I used no shoes because if you have a little bit of an elevated platform on your shoes like 270s do, then you're most likely gonna get a good amount of imbalances. So you're not gonna be pressing equally throughout each foot and in the same spots of your foot. So that could lead to a little bit more of an injury risk. When you do this exercise though, I would prefer if you use a heel elevated shoe, just because it's gonna help keep you a little bit more elevated off the ground, which is gonna in turn give you more depth when you go into the single leg squat. Sure. That's not enough reps. Come on. Now do you see why I only do only one set? Oh my God. I made a rookie mistake. I didn't give myself enough rest in between each leg. So next time, 8 to 12 breaths. I don't know why I needed to do that. I know you guys know what breaths are. In between each leg. I got a lot of blood to my brain. I'm sorry, this might be a little all over the place, but just one set here. We're moving on. Dirk, what the hell are we doing back here? Great question. Usually I would like to do some sort of stiff leg RDL to finish it off, or to finish off our hamstrings and legs. Only problem is my gym doesn't have a stiff leg RDL machine, so that it's more hypertrophy focused. Instead, my best bet would either be doing it on the Smithy or by using dumbbells, but you can't take those purely to failure because your forearms and your core and your lower back give out before your actual hamstrings do.
or if you have strong hamstrings, they should. So what we're gonna do instead to maximize hypertrophy and get the most out of the limited energy I have left is we're gonna do this exercise one more time, but we're gonna do single leg and we're gonna do it while we're leaning backwards a little bit. That way we can take these purely to failure. Just make sure that you're adjusting for how fatigued you should be. So I did 200 pounds when I first started my first movement with dual legs, both legs. So now I'm gonna do single leg, about 100 pounds. Just kidding, I'm gonna do single leg with 80 pounds. Oh shit, wait, let me move this. Perfect. One more here, calves, and we outie. Oh my gosh. If anyone was wondering, today is my frat's formal. So if you're wondering who I'm taking, I will be taking no one, because I will not be attending. I live in the frat house, but I have attended 2 parties. Both parties I went to take pictures, and that was it, and then I went back to my room. So why do you live in a frat if you're not actually gonna attend the parties and you're not gonna act like a frat boy, you're not gonna do shit? Well, it's because my best friends are in the frat and I love those kids. And it was either that or live off campus. And if I lived off campus, I would just completely dive headfirst into social media and working with my clients and trying to better myself. And the problem is I am somebody who really thrives in isolation. So I'm totally cool with never seeing anybody at any time. Some people might think that's sad, and I actually had a good amount of people ask me, like, don't you get FOMO? Aren't you, or if you don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. That's what it stands for, it's an acronym. And I actually don't, because the only people that really get FOMO are the people who are wasting their time, in my opinion. Like, I don't get FOMO because I know what I'm doing is better than what other people are doing. And I know that might sound egotistical, but in a way, me spending the night drinking and partying with girls, or you know, doing drugs, or I don't know, wasting my hours when I could be spending those hours bettering myself, or working on client programs, or working on new social media content, or working out, or eating the right food. It's just something that makes me feel better about myself. If I know that I'm being productive and I know that I'm genuinely spending my time in a better way than most people, then I'm a lot happier. And some of you probably don't think that you're necessarily wasting your time if you're spending it with your friends, but I'd much rather spend time doing shit with my friends, because I have certain friends that like to do productive shit, that I like to go on walks with me and talk about business, or want to do more outdoors shit, or just talk instead of going out and drinking and kind of wasting their lives. So I would get FOMO, let's say, if all my friends were, you know, gonna start a new business and didn't think they include me, but I wouldn't get FOMO if they're all gonna go talk about some girl while they're smoking. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of my perspective, in my opinion, on things. I know I'm 21, so a lot of people kind of get into this idea, and a lot of their parents convince their kids, God, I'm sorry, I have really bad ADHD, that's why I'm all over the place. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of parents convince their kids that the best time of their lives is going to be in college, so that they should make the best of their 4 years, because the rest of their life is basically going to suck afterwards, which is a really shitty way to think that your life is going to play out. I would much rather focus these 4 years on bettering myself, making money, doing the steps and the shit that nobody else wants to do to get ahead of 99% of the people my age. And then when I have more money and I have more connections and I'm like 27, then I could do way cooler shit. I could go party, but on the other side of the fucking world, you know what I mean? When I have the money to, and I'm still youthful. Whereas a lot of kids nowadays are thinking of, okay, I'm just gonna waste these next 4 years partying with girls, because everything after that is gonna be a 9-to-5 bullshit job where I have to, you know, responsibilities, and I can never have fun again. I hope you all understand what I'm trying to say. And I know that probably makes it sound like a loser, but I don't care, because I'm spending the time how I like to spend my time, and you can spend yours how you like yours. So, last say here. Yeah, FOMO is the stupidest shit ever. And the people that get FOMO should be the people that are completely wasting their time. Like, if I was just sitting in my room while everybody else was partying doing nothing and watching TV and playing video games, then I would probably get FOMO. All right, calves, and I'll wrap this up. I'm gonna do 3 sets here, call it. I hope y'all really like these more raw style videos where I put minimal edits on them, and instead I'm just making it seem like you're in the gym with me, just talking, whatever my thoughts are, whatever my tips are on the certain exercises. I'll try to start talking less about the gym most likely and more about real shit outside of it, because I feel like I get a lot of questions more about my real life and personal life and stuff outside of the gym than I do in the gym, and I appreciate both types of questions. So yeah, these are getting kind of hard. I gotta shut up. We done. Great hamstring workout. Drop a comment if y'all have any questions or if you want to see more workouts like this, and if you don't, too bad. I'm gonna keep putting them out. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and peace.